morning, guys. This is Exine.
Good morning, y'all. It's Ellery.
Morning, everyone. This is the cutest intern in Cebu. It's Ollie.
Ang atong hisugutan karong buntaga is kanang giingon nila og Mercury Retrograde. Unsa magyud ng Mercury Retrograde, and why do so many people believe in that? So first and foremost, as usual, of course, mag-definition of terms kita kay mo man importante gyud sa usa ka konversasyon, di ba?
Yes.
I-define gyud nat unsa atong ipaibot. Unsa man gyud ng Mercury Retrograde. Go ahead. Who wants to define the terms? Go ahead, Hillary.
So yeah, Mercury retrograde, it's an optical illusion that occurs around like thrice or 4 times in a year, I believe. And Mercury retrograde, it's basically a phenomenon where Mercury is, makita ka sa Mercury na feel ni mo na nag-move siya in another direction, but apparently they're
The
not.
planet Mercury.
Yeah, the planet
Okay.
Mercury. But apparently it's not actually moving in an opposite direction. It just slows down compared to the orbits of other planets.
Yeah,
diba?
that's why it gives the illusion of it's moving backward. Kaya
Yeah,
mas
exactly.
pas-pasta.
And with that illusion of moving backward, it relates to our like personal lives. Kay kuno, people say na kung mag Mercury retrograde, bad things happen. And especially in the communication aspect, because in astrology daw, Mercury is the planet of communication.
Yeah.
It's giving that energy of communication. And if mag retrograde daw, kay daghan nag mga dili magkasinabot, yeah, misunderstandings, and it could also lead to bad luck and bad happenings in as a whole.
So nganong importante makani? Why are people talking about it? Why are they almost I don't know if that's the correct word, celebrating Mercury retrograde? Nga sayop siguro ng word. Pero ngano man nga why is it a significant date? What happens man actually to people? Have you heard of actual stories nga nahitabo nga because of the metro naman Mercury retrograde kaning nain mga nahitabo nga dili na to ganahan nga mga ngilad nga mga nahitabo nga I would say mga famous nga incidents.
Wala ko ma-think of na famous, but other than like, rather than celebrating ang Mercury retrograde kay gidread sa a lot of people, gidread.
Especially if you're highly spiritual.
Highly spiritual na person, pero nila kay nag-dread sila og Mercury retrograde. Since ang Mercury kan gimension na kanina, it's the planet that gives the energy for communication og thought process. So
Always
Mercury,
double-check.
the planet Mercury is the planet that gives power
power
for
of communication
powers and
thought process.
thought processes. So kanang based on this is astrology.
Yeah, astrology.
Kani nga planeta ha mo ni naghatag na tog power sa nang mga departamentuha sa komunikasyon.
Siya nagpadagan ana.
So if ma-affected ang communication, naapoy laing aspect nga maapektuhan. Like your travel, your schedules.
Anything na ma-relate to communication. Oo.
And even technology. So like mo crash out imong laptop, blame Mercury retrograde.
Mayon tag communications ba atong course, mayon tag di makafix atong grado.
Si
Bako.
Bako. Actually, na-experience ako yesterday ba to? I was like saying, uy, 230 hours na ta karon nga week, and then if next week, last week na nato kay 30 na like wang, I'm like, I was happy ko. Hello, yes kanang kuan. Makaabot sus dili di ay kay akong pag-count 30 imbis 70. Okay, I'll blame Mercury retrograde, guys.
So imong thought process na ano.
Also siguro na kanang usually mag-broadcast kayo atong mga thoughts kay dili kayo.
Yeah, I feel
yung
like
na blame Mercury
ever since I
retrograde.
start kaya imong comments na di ko maka-organize akong thoughts kayo. I blame Mercury retrograde.
Have you experienced that, Sir Jiggy? Karon, like, there's something off sa imong communication.
Well, there's always something off with my communication on a daily basis. So dili sa Mercury retrograde kada adlaw na lang, di ba? Di ba? So ngano why do you think nga beliefs like this persist? Nganong nagpadayon man og tuo ang mga tao ni? I'm not dismissing this. I'm not dismissing this as a falsity. I'm just saying ngano ka nga nagpadayon ang mga tao sa pagtuo niya ni in the modern age. Di ba ngano ka? Unsay tan-aw ninyo? Is there some truth to this phenomenon? Kaya naghisgot ko ganiha before Christine and Ollie arrived, nag-ingon ko nga kanasang Augusto, sa buwan sa Augusto, kuhan po na siya, gitawag nila og ghost month, di ba? So dili sana siya maayo sa negosyo, di ba? Kung dili ka maghimo og dako nga transaksyonnes, dili ka maghimo og dako nga pag-purchase and big decision. So I was asking Mangali Hillary if these two are connected because kaning Chinese custom nga ghost month is purely Chinese, Eastern man siya, di ba? Kaning retrograde, asa man ni nagsugod kanang Mercury
It's more
retrograde? Did it start in the West? Is it also an Eastern idea? Unsa man ni siya?
I think it started in the West, but it has been like practiced na globally
Okay.
from what we've seen.
And I think itong question, Sir Gigi, it's because people want kanang there's a structure sa chaos ba? So example, pareha ng, ay na, karon baya nga month na magkuan ron ang Mercury retrograde. So like, anang dapat careful ko, mag-double check ko sa akong schedule. Dapat i-communicate well jud ko sa akong mga clients, ingana gani. And then, I think, usapod ang reason ana kay nagay marag ang feelings marag na language ang feelings sa to ba for example naatay encounter nga murag malas-malas so murag natay ma-blame natay okay murag backtrack gani nato nga mo man ni akong steps good gibuhat niya. I think this is because aligned siya sa kaning
na ay kana
na phenomenon. I think
from a quick Google search lang astrology originated from early Mesopotamia. So, first pagan society. Sakto ba? Diba? Early civilization. Yeah, kay before, diba, it's older than religion itself. So, kanang ang katon na time, you know, ang kanang mga tao kay mangitag ba ng reasons for katay mangiingon mangitag og reasons for what's happening around them na di ma-explain.
Especially since before we believed more in the supernatural. Before before ta na kuan sa Christianity.
Animism.
Animism, yeah. We believed in nature and all. And circling back to the question ni Sir Jiggy nga nung napay mo believe sa mga zodiac signs, I think it's because we have confirmation bias gani. Like, for example, when we look at the description, example, Virgo, you're gonna be very good today, something like that. Murag, kagkita ni mo, maganahan ka na, may tabo to ni mo.
It validates your feelings.
Something like that. Like for example, diba, we nakahisgot like mga days ago na I believed in reincarnation. Yung mo believe ko kay I want it to happen. So I think it's the same as zodiac signs. And when these zodiac signs have mga positive gani na mga predictions, you want it to happen to you. So I think that's why. And that's another reason
I think
why.
the term for that is confirmation bias, diba?
Yeah, that's what I said.
Yeah, confirmation bias. So ang imong secret hopes and dreams and longings, it wants to latch on to signs, right? And kung ma-confirm siya nga imong sign, ma-validate, then it becomes like a confirmation bias. So I think it's similar to other long-held beliefs, di ba? Nga kung mosakar sa imong pagtuo, mosakar sa imong ganahan mahitabo, ang imong mga heart's desires, then mutuo ka na. So kanang mo nang Mercury retrograde ni persist na in time. So when did we, kasi akong feeling kaning Mercury retrograde medyo bago-bago ra ni siya nga phenomenon, bago-bago ra ni siya nga atong hisgutan bitaw. I'm only acutely aware of this fairly recently lang. Dili kay siya dugay pa. What are your thoughts on kanus am ginita kami kanus am nagsugod og mora og witness or acknowledge nga naa day Mercury retrograde?
I feel like it's always been there. Kaya mga astrological phenomena na ang mga planets around us can nag-move in like a different ways. And I think it's been there earlier.
Yeah, it's been there earlier. But for me, murag bago pa siya na murag trend.
Yeah, bago siya kay I feel like ang current na time, daghan na kay tao pud na mo to. I think muna siya murag daghan na talk about mga spiritual stuff.
Kanang mga spiritual kuan manggod kanang mga nang account ba, so like sila ang disseminate og mga information
Take what
about
resonates,
it.
Leave what doesn't.
Then because nasa tarot
Tarot
reading sa
yeah.
TikTok, like mga live or mga kanang this is your sign, mga ingana. So I think mo nang mas ni known gani siya ron nga phenomenon.
And I think to add up lang na manifestation is still very strong karon.
Yeah.
And manifestation is spiritual, di ba? Yeah.
kay imo believe from wa mo siya ingon like science behind it.
Diba?
Dili, pero ang scientific fact remains nga ang Mercury muhinay og tuyok, and it gets according to Hillary the illusion nga murag ni bali ang tuyok, pero it's really because of the slowing down of the spinning of the planet Mercury in its axis nga murag tan-awon murag bali og tuyok, but dili illusion na siya.
Yeah.
So if you don't mind me digging deeper into the science ba, why is that? Why is Mercury slowing down its spinning relative to Earth? Maybe you can Google that, right? Let's Google that. But ikaw diha, Justin, what is your retrograde experience? Have you experienced retrograde, Mercury retrograde? Are you feeling like you're having a crappy last couple of days? Because nagsugod naman kuno sa pizza 18 ang Mercury retrograde. Hantod sa pizza 11 ba to? Sakto ba to?
August 11.
August 11. Ikaw diha, Justin Narvios. Unsa man imong experience aning Mercury retrograde? Go ahead.
Top of the morning, Jiggy, and to our Power Tops girls. Hi, guys. Thank you once again for one of the most interesting topics, no? So, they're always researching unsay mga uso karon, and this is something that people are talking about online right now. Ang Mercury is in retrograde. Well, before I give my personal opinion, I think what I understand about it na lang, let me know if I'm mistaken or not. No, it has to do with like your specific birth date. You have characteristics and personality traits that are attributed to your birth date, because when you are born daw, there are specific I don't know how, I think it has to do with like, I don't know how it's related to the planets, right? Like the Zodiac and all that. Pero does it have to do with ano ba, with kanang the gods, like the Venus and stuff like that? Diba that has to do with that? That's the main rationale behind Zodiac in the first place. Is it?
Yeah, I think.
It is, no? Murag, I think I saw that somewhere, ha? I'm not very knowledgeable on that pa. But there was a time my favorite part of reading the newspaper would be katong bitong part nga na horoscope, and the other one is katong artista kanang lifestyle nga part. I skip all the pages, and then third is the crossword. So needless to say, when I was younger, those are the things I would always check. Now, personally, I don't believe in zodiac signs. There was a time when I was much younger that I did. There was also a time a couple years ago when I was very much into crystals, crystal healing and all that, Reiki, energy. And I did a lot of research and science behind that. Now, I don't know which, was it Einstein or whoever, ang theory that mentioned that minerals and different stones and different crystals have energy, and we in ourselves as human beings or any living creature, anything around us also emits energy. So there's things there are measurements to take into account, kind of mga hertz and whatever like that, and the crystals emit a certain vibration or an energy that is good for you, and just like when you're walking on earth down with your barefoot. So it was a science for me for the longest time, and I believed in that. I would charge my crystals, rose quartz. I'd put it in a mason jar and then put it under the moonlight. It's to charge it daw para ma-charge ang crystal, especially if it's raining or na thunderstorm. Then I think it was around last year that I attended like a retreat, and they sort of shed light on my personal opinion of how it's not very not in line with my personal beliefs, my Catholic beliefs. So I stopped getting into that. So I'm not into crystals, I'm not into zodiac. I refrain from those because in my personal belief, anything that has to do with reading the future of someone by looking at their past is not I don't know how else to say it, not godly.
Actually, that's very scientific though. Diba? That's how you predict the future, diba? Take a look at what something has or somebody has done in the past and in the present, and
Right.
It's not accurate, of course, not 100% accuracy, but it is kind of predictive. Mo parehara kog weather, diba? We can kind of predict the weather. There was a time when we could not predict the weather. There was a time nga people thought nga the gods were angry or the gods were this and that. So naisayaw, na offering, i-sacrifice sila nga youngest boy butang sa haligi sa ilang building para lang to appease the gods and so on and so forth. And you have to understand nga dili pa ni layo sa ato ang henerasyon. Just move back 5-10 generations ago, and people believed in that because we did not know any better. Kutob ra man di atong nasabtan sa kalibutan. Naramtay weather prediction karon. Kibaw man ta nga ugma mag-uwan, di ba? Kasi kung saan na yung sayo-sayaw diya, kung ugma mag-uwan gyud, di ba? So ang kanang mga pagtuo na to karon remnants na at a time nga wala pa tay siyensya o pa ta kibaw unsay mga panghitabo, unsay rason nga nahitabo kibaw man na mangutana nga why is the sky blue, di ba? Ang tubag kanang sakto is for me I don't know, but kung na kay scientific answer ana nam ginay answer ng pangutanahan, di ba? Kaning aning mga butanga ba dili mo guni siya provable sadya. Kana bang Mercury retrograde ba? Kung mag-ingon ko nga that exists, right? Kinsa may maka-disprove? That's so difficult to disprove also kay personal man na nimo, mura man nag-believe, di ba?
Yeah, exactly.
So ang akong pangutana siguro na ni persist ni siya kay nagyo yung nakakita siguro nagyo naka-feel nga sa connection sa Mercury retrograde ug sa iyahang day-to-day experience. Kamo diha, ikaw starting with you siguro Hilary, kay ikaw man gyud murag kaning familiar kay ani niya.
Dili, Jude.
Unsa man imo na experience karong starting last July 18 until puhon July 11 nga nakaingon ka nga Mercury retrograde yun ang rason ni aning pangitabo sa akong kinabuhi.
Actually, this year, I don't think I have experienced quote-unquote Mercury retrograde yet. Wala pa yung something bad na na-happen this, oh my God. Yeah. Something good pa man usually, but I see a lot of people na on like social media blaming Mercury retrograde kaya like nag-away silang mga partners or like katong laptop na kanang ni crash out.
Oh my God.
Yeah, there are a lot naman but personally wala pa ako na. But I think si Christine.
What about you, Christine and Ollie?
When kaya nag-start?
18.
July 18.
So that was Friday, I think. Yeah, Friday.
Like, crash out ba karon nga? Naman.
Wala pa.
Pero, yeah, kata kong gimension nga, kanang, like, wala ko kasabot sa ako ang, unsa ni timeline ba? Oo, then ko, amin ako 30 hours na lang ang kulang. And also, going back katong scientific one, I've researched about it. Ang, kao naman sabtan, when the Earth daw, usually, in its perspective, the planets move eastward.
Okay.
And then, when kanang kung si Earth daw o si Mercury lapse, and then the Mercury appears to slow down, and then kung mo slow down kay mura siya mo stop or aging on stop, and then it will move west,
Okay.
westward. Muna daw na ang retrograde.
Yeah, like
And then if ato lang siya ikon sa simple analogy, for example, you're in a fast car, si Earth na, and then you see a kanang slow nga car, muna si Mercury. And then when you pass
it appears slower.
Mo appear siya slower. Especially when you look back, imong tan-aw
Nag-backward.
si slow car, murag feeling nimo nila nag-backward, murag ni ana gani. So mo daw na ang simple
Yeah, and the
analogy.
reason ako
Okay.
giba sa kanina, ang reason na kay Murag, the closer the planet is to the sun, di ba kita ang planet nag-orbit man sa sun, nagtuyok sa sun, the closer it is to the sun, the faster siya mo orbit. Mas mo tuyok sa sun. Wala ko nakagets daw sa tuyok basta mo to basta kay ang Earth daw kay na at times sa mo pass I think sa Mercury.
I think I understand the scientific part behind that, no? Like of which direction the planets are supposed to turn. But what I'm having a difficult time understanding is how does it affect your day-to-day life living? Because I'm a firm believer in there's two things that everything is also predestined and ordained, and of course by a higher being. But at the same time, I'm very much convinced that 99% of what happens to us is our choice and our doing.
Exactly.
Like I'm a
Same.
firm believer in that. Good. I forgot what it's called in self-actualization, right? Like being in charge of your own destiny, and I'm very firm on that. So I'm trying to understand lang how does the rotation of the planets affect what happens to you.
Yeah. Muna pa lang for me, ako lang personally, never man ko nito, like bata pa lang yun kay I was raised in like a very Catholic home. And kanang I never ko na to ish og siguro time mura or to the part wala jud ko nito og kanang kwan o kanang like mga zodiac signs, star signs, astrology and stuff.
Though they are interesting ba yan,
Yeah,
no?
they're interesting.
They're interesting.
Shock ka na I'm related siya same siya sa akong life, akong gigyan right now. Pero never do ko example ba sa Mercury retrograde, I experience bad luck in a day-to-day basis.
It's not because of Mercury.
Yeah, I
What
think
if it's us?
what if ako lang talaga ang
What
may
if I'm
problema?
the problem? No, but it's like, but they are quite interesting in a way that, as you mentioned, aside from confirmation bias, I feel like the danger of that bias when you make it an excuse for bad behavior. Nga.
Yeah.
Kana siya di.
Debating that
Oh,
Yeah.
dili na siya loyal kay ano mo gano siya kanang Capricorn, they're very like, come on.
Another
like, come
example
on.
before, nakita ko sa TikTok before, dugay na kito years ago, na nara siya nakasakay sa jeep, na kana daw kanang maldita daw kay ba ang girl na nakipaglalis niya, pagtaod-taod na kay sa girl kani kalma niya, ana daw na, ay sorry kay haliw manggod ko so like yung ano daw
Well, for the sake of this conversation, what's your zodiac sign? Jiggy, what's your zodiac? Ay, Gemini.
We're gonna read.
Oh, perfect.
ano siya ano dia, okay.
Okay, let's read
My
the
forecast.
for the heck of it. Let's read Jiggy's ano. So, ladies and gentlemen, join us by the way on our conversations. That's Tops Media Center on YouTube. We're live on Facebook and also on TikTok. So, pag comment sa mo diha. What's your zodiac sign? Let's for the heck of it. We're talking about Mercury being in retrograde. You know, there are no right and wrong answers.
Related and Mercury retrograde og zodiac sign.
Yeah, it's astrology.
So imong relation to
Malign.
the celestial bodies is related to Mercury retrograde. To my birthday. Sige, si Gemini man ko. Sige.
Gemini, Jiggy.
Yeah, according to this is from a Filipino astrologer,
Oy,
si
you know.
Even better.
Santiago. So it's from Philstar.
Okay.
So Gemini daw, it says na your magnetism could be high,
Ooh.
but exercise caution with your words and actions. Even minor mistakes can escalate, particularly
Even minor
mistakes can escalate. Particularly if you're active on social media.
Hala!
Merg ma-cancel ka sa
So yeah, and last sentence, schedule trips carefully. Yes. Schedule trips carefully and safeguard your documents and belongings while traveling.
Jiggy.
Are you gonna travel?
Are you gonna travel, Jiggy? Dapat mag-ano gid ka, Jiggy. I-kadena gid na, i-lock.
And I do have a lot of documents in the car. So yeah.
Lock gid na, Jiggy. Hala.
Someone will steal
Ikaw Justin, unsa man imong zodiac sign Justin?
I am a Libra.
Libra, oh, same sila.
Yeah.
okay.
Libra.
Justine, mga teen.
Christine and Justine. Okay, Libra. A trip might be on the horizon, but be wary of new acquaintances.
Hala.
Dun, 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 dun.
Hala.
While it's fun to socialize, remember that not everyone you meet is meant to stay in your life.
Hala.
Bye.
Bye, guys.
Oh,
Bye.
no. The last is avoid sharing too much personal information.
Okay, noted. Noted.
No oversharing, guys.
Noted.
Oversharing.
Okay, how about
See, all
Yeah. Ako is Virgo, and Virgo actually is kanang
Virgo. Okay.
yeah, planet aligned sa Mercury.
Okay. So this is your time supposedly.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
The
ako ang
best
bad
of
luck
times.
No.
So Ollie's is a Virgo.
So again, Virgo, pressure from various aspects of your life might lead you to seek solace in solitude.
Solo
Very
din
me
siya.
in general.
Oh.
If approached carefully, this can be an effective strategy to process your inner emotions and transform past hurts and anger into momentum for moving forward. It's actually kind of positive.
Wow, okay.
Yeah, like it's in line with him. Like
Sana
he's
all.
got. What about you, Ellery?
Lucky ko, guys.
Can't go. I'm Aquarius.
Aquarius. Oh, okay.
Yeah. Oh my god, I'm scared. So you might meet interesting people at galleries or parties.
Uy. Party na ni
Oh,
Ellery.
pwede na siya, Larry.
I don't like parties.
Sorry, Wednesday pero karong Saturday mag-party ni Ellery. Okay.
Before deepening any new connections, take a pause during this retrograde to clarify what you truly want and need in a relationship.
What someone good eh?
Then compare that with what the other person offers.
Ah.
This is scary. Oh my god, I'm so scared.
I think in the newspaper they even give you your lucky numbers, right? Nya itaya na people
Sa loto.
sa mga loto unsay lucky numbers sa
Yeah,
ilang
speaking
zodiac.
of lucky
no?
numbers, do you guys believe in lucky numbers? Do you have one?
Ish.
Because like ako kay
Ah,
I have
yeah.
this preconception na angel number kay 222.
Ah.
Like, it's kind of,
Ah.
yeah, like,
Ano
mga
mo
kuwan
may
ko na.
Ako ba kay, I think 999 ako
Everyone has a
Angel
different
number.
one, di ay?
You
Yeah,
have
angel
that-
number.
Hindi, angel number is 222 dyan siya. Lucky number ang lahi-lahi.
Ah, di ay?
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm so sure ko angel number now is 999 daw. Ganun ako 555 para ko.
Also, kanang carnivore. Also na kanang
Tuna.
tuna. Yeah, I think for me my lucky numbers are 1, 7, 17. Like I always if it's a jersey number or something or I get to pick something random, I always choose those numbers. But I do believe in angel numbers because like based on my limited knowledge on the Bible, no, the Bible does have multiple instances wherein they mention a series of numbers, especially 12, like 12 apostles, 7 days, no, the I know of the archangels, the number of them. There's always a specific number mentioned in the Bible.
Yeah.
If you believe in that, then yeah.
My magic number is $1 billion.
Ay, wow.
Napay currency, ha? Napay currency, ha?
Magic currency.
Mantag masagpaan kog ligaw na 1 million ronda.
Maybe you should check your lucky numbers. Inya itaya na siya sa loto. Right?
So atong gisgutan karong buntaga is Mercury retrograde. Kamo diha namo na experience diha nga Mercury retrograde in your personal lives. Do you think something adverse happened to you because ang Mercury ni retrograde? Di ba? Wala text us 0999-887-6070. You can message us on our Facebook page, Tops Media Center on YouTube, Tops Media Center. Please press subscribe our Facebook page. Please like, and also you can comment on our conversation karong adlaw. So again, the bigger question is, why does something like this persist? Di ba padayon man ni kanang astrology, di ba, and all of that stuff. Di ba wala gini siya nahimo og actual science, although there was a time, believe you me, it was actually science. Whatever the astrologer said was gospel truth at that time, a long time ago, because we didn't know any better. Of course, we all know that there was a time called the Enlightenment. People discovered a way of looking at the world, and it was through the scientific method, di ba? So naman tayo na enlightened man ta as a people. So that's why kani mga astrologers became less and less relevant. Kaning mga star signs and all of that stuff became less and less relevant. They're relegated to the woo department, diba? Because of science. Now, kaning mga butanga in the modern age, yung mas grabe na gyud ka advanced, and then our knowledge has even become more deep and wide. Ano nagpadayon pamagyud ni siya, diba? Nganong is this just a kind of hobby? Murag it's like a fun thing to do, or unsa man ni siya, like is there commerce involved here? Are people selling something here, like ang hisgutan mo Justin katong mga
Crystals.
gemstones and crystals? Is there money involved here? Because I'm always suspicious when there's money involved, especially when it comes to beliefs and religion. Kung na kwarta involved, then I get suspicious, right? So kanisha, is there commerce involved?
I think lang no, that's why it's still kanang relevant, and then people still believe despite sa kanang advancements
yeah.
sa science and all. It's because we're human, my God, so we crave for kanang answers and meanings, and especially sa social media. Kay when we scroll, makakita tag mga ana, then we feel a little connection, and then it's something aligns with our past actions gani. So like na validation towards it sad, and I don't think na siya money involved kaayo kung mo believe kag mga ingana.
So why ibaligi ang katong hisgot ni Justin?
Na
Oh, mo
siya.
ka tarot card,
Gamay ra ang
bayad ka.
gamay ra ang market for
Or
like mga
ikaw ra may
astrology. Oo. Usually kay murag wala man na sa kuan sa imo man ang connection with the universe.
A lot of people
Oo.
buy mga stuff online because I think Mona, like if you buy some mga Etsy or like Amazon, diba? Like they would joke like these are ethically sourced crystals. You usually get them outside. Wala kaya na siya diri. You know, and that's a very Western concept also. I think it's very difficult maybe for that belief to thrive so much. As of now, I'm thinking in a very predominantly Catholic country,
Yeah.
lisod pa siya. So maybe
But
yeah.
the fact is that we're talking about it now,
Yeah.
and people are talking about it in social media. That means that this thing exists, and there are actual people who believe in this, right? So why do you think that is? Unsa ka? Do you think that this is sort of filling a gap that religion cannot fill? Is this like a substitution of sorts, or can both of these coexist? Obviously, according to Justine, it can't, right?
Yeah.
But she just discovered that a few months ago, during a retreat, di ba? Nga dili ni pwede nga last year nga motuo ka ning usa ka butang, ni motuo sa og kaning a deity,
Yeah.
or a kind of a variation of a religion, let's just say Christianity for example, di ba? So dili na siya pwede nga mo coexist, di ba?
Yeah.
Naamay religion or so-called religion nga pwede mag-coexist og Christianity kanang Buddhism, di ba? Pwede naman na siya mo coexist if you think about it. There are versions of Buddhism that can actually latch on to other religions. Kaning astrology. This is part of astrology, right?
Yeah.
Am I correct?
Yeah.
Can it coexist ba with long-held beliefs like Christianity? Go ahead.
Ako nabawaan sa, correct me lang if I'm wrong, because what nakabasa man ko before good kay, I don't know where I've read it before, basta ka ko na, astrology man good is considered as black magic. It showed, di siya pwede ma-coexist with Christianity. Kay kanang it's the work of witches man daw.
I'm glad you
Crystal,
brought that up.
Yeah, black magic is from the devil ba ya? So di siya pwede mo gamit.
Kay gahom-gahoman.
Di ka pwede mo kay in Christianity dapat ang everything imong isalig sa Ginoo.
Yes.
Mura gyud na. So if mosalig kag mga una mura ka you're communicating with the devil daw.
Yeah,
Model lang
or
yun.
other spirits or
Yeah.
But then, diba, back then, there
yeah
are people who use it on stars kanang for kanang ilahang
for travel.
travel,
Mm.
yeah, kung where sila ilang compass, diba? So I think it does exist, but astrology wasn't really like kanang ingana ka respected kasi una purag
Yeah.
dili siya study pa gani, dili siya science, but it's just a way of
Actually,
like
it was more respected before science
Yeah.
came in.
ay.
It
So
was kind of
I-
religion siya
no,
before.
they thought of it as a science back then. They thought of it as a science, kind of study of kaning the relationship between the stars and your life. So it became less and less respected the more science progressed mo na siya nahitabo. Not the other way around. So ang pangutana again, back to my question, like why is this still there then? You know, why is this still there when science has already kaning broken down all of astrology's allegations and its theories and beliefs,
For
right?
me lang, I think kanang we want to predict things man good. Like dapat kanang ahead ta ba kabaw ta sa unsay buhaton or kabaw ta unsay mahitabo.
Yeah, more assurance po siya.
Oo.
In the same way, ang kita man good as humans, ganan ta magbutang og meaning into everything that's happening.
Oo.
Kana po.
And sometimes man
It's our
good,
way to regain control of
Oo.
everything. Ano nahitabo man ni nako? Why
and
is this happening?
sometimes
Oo,
di man good siya
lagi.
ma-explain sa science.
Kana.
So, so muna I think ang pataw mo kagat sa sa astrology kay or explain imong emotions. Mura bag di ka let's say lisod ba yung na ang mind kay complex ba kayo ngano kay nagbati og ani ana for like a simple person lang siguro lisod gina siya una na niagi ko og like mga these hardships.
Why?
Need ba siya i-dig up og tama ngano unsay mga trauma sa imong ana para makasabot ka. In astrology man mo na raman na ay wrong ang tuyok sa sun karon.
Yeah, so basically astrology or mga zodiac signs, I think they provide answers from pud good. Like in contrast to religion or to science kay murag dili kayo like they don't really give concrete answers, whereas ang astrology kay na nag-lay down na nila based sa kanang mga stars and all that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think, in a greater perspective, everyone in life is just trying to look for answers to every complicated question. And it really depends on what you turn to as the one that gives you answers. I don't think that, I would like to think that where I go to get answers is the ultimate one, but for other people it's not the same, right? So some people
Yeah.
turn to science, some people turn to astrology, some people turn to religion. So that I think that's all that it is. But I have an interesting fact that I want to share with you guys since we're talking about these things, no? I remembered something before when I studied psychology. It was interesting how there's this scientific study that for the longest time as to why people act weird or crazy or aggressive or irrational when na full moon. Diba? Like, the moon is full, no?
Yeah.
And there was a time also na nituusad ko nga buang mo di ay ni lash out ko ron kay gabi kay yellow kanya
Like
big
eclipse, diba?
eclipse but mostly for full moon and for words, no, the reason why in psychology they coined the term lunatic is from the word luna. Meaning moon, because there's this kaning si Galen, I think it's Galen, and I forgot this other philosopher, Aristotle Bato. They found out or they noticed that a lot of people exhibit aggressive behavior during a full moon, right? People would have epilepsy, seizures. Then moving on to the modern days, there are studies that show that kanang mga ER, emergency rooms in hospitals, are mostly filled during the full moon. So scientists now try to unsa man gyud any correlation ana? Unsay labot anang full moon. One of the things that they found out before is that diba the moon has a gravitational pull. It pulls bodies of water like ang mga tide. Apparently, before people believed that affect your mood, even mga period cycles of women that affects that apparently. But then quickly later, science is proving nga it's not strong enough though to affect human beings. So that's still a discussion that's still something up for discussion right now. No nga, one of the angles they look at it is that maybe full moon would disrupt your sleep. So of course, changing your mood and then changing your behavior. And at the same time, there's another of that a placebo effect. Na if you expect, of course, people to act weird during a full moon, subconsciously, like if maybe the ER nurses would already think, okay, because daghan kayo mag epilepsy tonight, we're gonna take in a lot of patients. Dapat on the clock kita. So it looks like daghan og tao dito at that time. So that's still something being studied now. But I find it interesting, like. Kamo naka-try mo ana nga pag full moon I'm turning into an aso. I'm turning into a werewolf.
Well, number one, sakto gid na siya nga kuwang ka og gatog kung naay full moon. Sakto gid na siya kay hayag man. I mean, if you think about it ba, there's so many things that we pass on bitaw from generation to generation genetically that we are not even aware of. So kanang mga kana bitaw ang giingon nila nga nocturnal man ko. Or night person man ko, or day person man ko, I can never function in the morning and all that stuff, right? There's actually an evolutionary story behind that.
Yeah, I've read that.
Oo nga, di ba? Atong una, we literally could get eaten by beasts if we're not careful, right? So ang hitabo atong una, pagpuli-puli sila og bantay sa tribe nga kinahanglan 24 hours gid gagabi inaagi magmata para bantayan ang tribo nga dili kanon sa mga beasts, mga lions and tigers and whatnot, di ba? So kana silang matawhana siguro murag na pass on na ilahang that genetic trait nga kani sila matug gini sila kada gabi, kani sila matug sila kada buntag. So muna imong lot in life, but so na daghan kaayo mga butang nga ma-passed on. So kaning pagtuon ako kaning mga butang nga kanang the belief gene, I think the kaning ang atong pagka superstitious, that's also passed on from generation to generation. We can't help it. We really can't help it. Murag na mangitag something, and I think kaning Mercury retrograde and astrology is so tempting because it enlightens you like maori ay because people are not mangod satisfied with that's just the randomness of the universe, bro. I mean that we don't want kaning mga hanging what ifs without kanahan mo kita nga we cannot live with the answer like I don't know, right? We're not comfortable. We're not comfortable with it. Ganahan ta mo judge, ganahan ta mo di ba mo label, mo conclude, mo label, mo judge, di ba? Because we're lazy. We're lazy people. That's how we latched on to all of these things. Kanang what do you call that? Mercury retrograde and astrology. So but if it works for you, if it benefits you, if it makes your life easier, better, or even more prosperous, why the hell not? It works for you. One of my favorite lines is from a now canceled director. His name is Woody Allen. He's canceled for some other reason. He said, "Whatever works. If it works for you, then well and good." So kaning imong Mercury retrograde, if you believe in this and it works for you, then good, right?
Yeah.
Kind of reminds me of like I think Jiggy's reason for that why all of us latch into ideologies because human beings, our nature is we're lazy, and that's an easier way to find answers. But the way I see it, I agree with that, but I think the way I see it, there's this movie I want to quote, Heretic, diba? Niingon si Hugh Grant. That's his name, right? Hugh Grant? Oh, no. Yeah, Hugh Grant. Hugh Grant mentions in the film, you know what the real religion is? The one truth of the entire universe, it's that the real religion and the real truth is that the real religion is control. So the reality is that in a world that is chaotic, our human nature is that we want to find order. We want to find answers. We want to find something that makes sense out of something that doesn't make sense. So again, I would still like to believe that everyone has their different ways lang. Depends lang what lenses they wear to understand something. Pero mao na siya.
Yeah, they want
Kamo,
ka ng
guys.
nice sense of control gani sa mga unpredictable things mo nang ingana
Kana
ta.
pod.
And then as I mentioned before, ganahan tag nice structure sa chaos ba so that we know nga mo ni mahitabo ni siya pohon. So kailangan maka-ready na ta kay
Yeah,
Dili
prepare.
man gud ta ganahan nga murag ko kabaw sa kong buhaton mura tag crazy
Prepared.
may ngana so like prepare kananta na answers
As
exactly.
humans, girl, no, uncertainty shares the living crap out of us.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
So if di ta makabalo, mabuang taghunahuna kung sa buhaton sa magiingon. So mauna, yeah, it's easier para na ako lang ang idea of like astrology is easier to grasp on compared sa mga like complex scientific na mga explanation.
Labad nun
Yeah,
mo, so-
sumutog labad noon.
Actually, yeah, I get that. Mm-mm.
Do you guys think, especially in the Philippine context, we like pre-colonial times, we believed in animism and supernatural beliefs. Do you think also na this belief of zodiac signs it also correlates to our beliefs in superstitions back then and even now?
Yeah, because atong generation, not generation, atong
Ancestors.
Yes, kita mga Filipinos, we love kanang passing on stories, storytelling,
Kana.
storyteller kita ba.
Storytelling nation, yeah.
So like morning na mga scenario ngayong ani, ya ganahan ta i-animate gani kanang kuan ba kita mo kadag. Exag kita. So pila ko mo nang kanang mo relate or mo kuan sa tag kanang astrology. Maski dili siya western-ish ba jud kayo na siya, 'di ba? Pero kay we believe in signs, in kanang spiritual
Exactly.
beings. So mo nang
Conversations with the other
then
realms,
mo
no?
nang ganahan tag
Clairvoyance.
ingana. For
Bitaw.
me lang. How about you guys?
Yeah, parang ako I like early Filipinos ang go dili good go ng astrology but rather kanang murag spirits in this world ana. Masakto ba ang astrology ana ba na spirits ba na in like in the
We
world?
also believed ba in the
Spirits,
sun,
energy,
mga
mga-
social beings.
Right. So in the same way, it's
I
like
think
you're
astrology
related.
has to do with like the celestial beings,
Ah.
sun, moon, star. So,
So
yeah, we worship
We
the
did.
sun, back in the day.
Okay.
Ang nakalisod sa nanagod kanang astrology man gud like it involves celestial bodies that are light years, millions of light years away from us, diba? So di gina ma-prove na to, right? I mean like how can we prove
We can't
Mercury
even go to the sun.
we can't even go there, right? So kanang mangina na it'll remain a mystery until it's not, right? So mo na siya. And going back to your stories, I think we talked about this before. But we're all storytellers. This is not a Filipino thing. This is a human thing.
Yeah.
Everything is a story. Everything that we that's the reason why humans are very successful because we're able to tell stories. Compare us to other life forms, other primates, other life forms in this earth, right? Kita raman ang makahimo og istorya. Kita raman ang, for example, ang lion matagak sa pangpang, for example, wala na. Pero kita na mahimo tag istorya nga kana diyang pangpang diha. Kuyaw kay na kananay ungo diha. So ayog yung ambak diha, ayog yung padul sa pangpang. So stories allow us to cooperate because we have shared stories. Mo na maga-cooperate ta because kuan man ni siya kaning mo man iyang pagtuo so parihara ta. So you welcome them in your homes, diba? Because of the shared story. So importante kay na nato ang stories yun. We are really storytelling beings kanang mga human beings. Kita naman tayo istorya nga taga Bohol ganiya. The story of Bohol katong si Daguhoy, di ba? The story of Cebu and how we were Christianized and the first mass was held here in Cebu. Those are all stories.
Yeah.
Whether they're true or not, like historical truth or not, is immaterial. I think the more important part is we share that story. Ang nakapait lang karon is that because of the internet, our stories are being pulled into many more directions, right? Nga maglain-lain na noon ba? Na amplify nga story nga murag it was insignificant back then, naapoy very significant story nga gi-minimize na pud sa uban and so on and so forth. So kita malibog na ta. Nga unsa man gyud what's our story? So mo nang murag in a way na fractured na ta ba as people because of social media. But I think it's important to understand at the end of the day we're still human beings, and if you really think about it, we have the same
longings and desires and hopes and dreams, whatever beliefs you have, whatever you think is true or not, at the end of the day, mora magyapon ang atong mga kinanglan. We need to be, we want love and be loved, and we want to eat, and we want to create meaning in our lives. We want to help other people, and we want other people to help us because we're not an island. We need, we need hugs and stuff like that, right? So I think that's important. Ang ako lang yung pangutana, again, going back to the topic, is nganong nagpadayon na magyapon ni in spite of all of that kaning Mercury retrograde. And then kung mo apply na sa imong kinabuhi ba, how about sa imong romantic life? Is that also related to your romantic life?
First of all, if anyone can like replay the few seconds, you should have seen how Ollie grabbed. Gana gina Ollie ba?
Dagan siya ikasturya.
So unsa man, how does the Mercury retrograde can affect your love life?
Actually, since 'di ba, ang foundation sa relationship ba kay communications.
Okay.
So if ang kanang ang energy sa communications na block siya, then ang miscommunication daw is more rampant in your relationship. And napunto yung nakakita ko kanina sa TikTok na sa karon daw Mercury retrograde, ayaw send out og love letters kay misinterpret daw.
Ayaw pag send out
og love letters.
Man, this is the time we're encouraging people to be nonchalant. Come on.
So if namoy ka nang nabalak mo chat sa iyong mga crush, ay sa ron.
Sorry.
Mag DND di ay, do not disturb. Okay.
Yan, isan ka.
Ay wala ra.
Wala kay love letter nga gisan? Or love DM? Love DM?
Do not disturb.
So mga nagpaminaw karon, do not send your love letters. May it be kanang written or sa
Sa chat
social
lang?
media, sa chat. Ayaw sa Jude.
Oh my.
Kim-kim sa na inyo hang nag-urus-urus nga gugma. Palihog lang. Pero nanin nyo, og sticker mag-go.
Bitaw.
Basta, walay, kuhan ha, blame my ha.
Why blame
blame na
my?
lang si
Mercury
Mercury retrograde.
retrograde.
But I think one of the best things you can do, no, if umaapaw gid na, if you really want to message someone, you want to hold back kay Mercury's in retrograde, pag request na lang mo love song niya, i-dedicate na lang na to someone here sa TMC. Diba?
Sakto. oh.
Pag-text sa
Pag-comment
mong
mo.
number na lang. Oh,
Request
comment
under
mo, send mo song, I'd like to dedicate this song to
Shout out, dili mo na love letter. Shout out naman.
Shout out
What
naman
if
na.
misinterpret ang song?
Oh no!
Misaw naman na.
Di na lang mag-communicate para
Ghost na lang
ma-say.
i-ghost.
Takumbaba na lang to.
Pero kung i-ghost kayo,
Ayaw,
na
go-
misunderstanding.
ang ghost kay misunderstanding man gyapon na awa. Wala noong ka naka-ingon na.
It's a lose-lose situation.
Oo. So
So what should we do during now? If
Oh my
miscommunication is rampant in Mercury being in retrograde, mag-ano na lang ta, mag-inusara na lang tas balay.
Sign lang doon.
Don't
Communication gyapon na.
Di ko na, I have feelings for you, pero later na ako later na ako explain ha, kay ma'am miscommunicate niya.
I like you but I digress.
Teaser lang daw, teaser.
Inig ano na lang, inig what date mahumani?
August 12 na lang ko man.
Speaking of communication, diba there are people who are texters, right? There are people who don't like texting, like me, for example, right?
So nonchalant.
Yeah, there are people who like to email, right? There are people who like to talk in person, right? Kamo, like, which is your mode of communication that best describes your feelings? Kaya nga ako like akong feeling ano magong text good is sayon kaayo ma-misinterpret.
Okay.
Wala
If it's written.
kung if it's a business correspondence,
Okay.
mas maayo ng email o kaning text siguro kaya at least you can look back, right?
Yes.
Pero kung kanang personal relationship na bitaw kanang family or friends or loved one, dili mo gud mo articulate kaayo ang emotion, good grammar is not sufficient to express how you feel. Sometimes you have to be there, especially when it comes to personal relationships. So muna ako ang priority when it comes to personal conversations about life, family, and friends. I'd rather talk to them I'd rather have them in front. But when it comes to business correspondence, I'd rather text or email. Kay kaning Mercury retrograde, mura og the morphing of communication lines because Mercury is the disruption of communication lines. So kamo, like what's your favorite mode of communication? Ikaw Hillary.
Ako kay very opposite ko ni Sir Jiggy kay mas bet na ko mag-chat or mag-text. Ako introverted mo ko na person. So
Kita
if,
kanya pag first year, abi yun ako. Si Ellery kay Saba kay siya sa GC niya ko. Kaya sabi, tabi kay si Ellery. Pag kita na ko niya in person kay, asa man si Ellery kay, ang iyang name ako sa GC kay Ellery niya, ang name sa in person kay Marcella. Hiluman kay siya. Ga-expect yun kung si Ellery kay Saba kaayo.
yeah, they thought I was a different person. In chat and in text.
Pero sa
Kaya ako-
GCs, you're very active. Why is
yeah.
that?
Kaya kung ano good, like, sa text mo good, like, pwede kaya pag siya ma-backspace,
Ma-edit.
Mo day mang delete.
Ang delete siya actually sa mga message. May sa mo yung gisend.
Bitaw,
no?
no? Like, yeah, like, kanang mas, kuhan gani akong thought process if ako i-chat. Kaysa sa talk, manggod, dili man ni mo ma-unsend ang talk, di ba? Like, nasulti naman ni when all.
man here.
And, muna, like, ako sa, kanang na mo tawag na ko kay, ma-pressure ko, di ko ganahan mo kuhan. Di ko ganahan mo.
Di ka mo answer.
Pick up sa tawag.
really?
Like, nga na, yeah, I hate calls. Na,
And you
more
can
on
also
kuhan ko.
delay when someone, for example, you don't want to deal with that person pa or like the topic is very kanang wait, so I have to hanay things first. I have to organize. Pwede pa nimo okay.
Think things out.
I-think things out.
Yeah,
No?
that's why mas bet na ko ang ako mas ganahan pud ko mo write magud kaysa I speak. Kay introverted ko and all that. So, yeah, I'm very different from you all.
And you can ask for someone's opinion also. Kung text, you can show pa nga.
Oo.
Tanawa ra gud ning gi-text niya. Like, what should I say?
Exactly.
If you're in a conversation with them, lisod man to, what I said like, diba?
Chat GPT, what do I reply with this?
Usually,
Kabaw lagi ka.
usually kanang sa like mga Twitter or like mga fandom kuan kay we have like diba you as you said sir na kanang murag listo i-interpret ang kanang two text like dili kay kanang emotion sa sa stan Twitter for example we have
stan
this
Twitter,
kanang
okay.
tone indicators gani so like kanang nami like kanang slash
J.
yeah J kana slash J slash HJ ana and that's how we indicate
That's
a
what
tone.
it means.
Yeah, so slash J is
Karon lang ko.
yeah, so slash J gani kay joke. Yeah, if HJ is half joke, then SRS is serious. So that's how we indicate our tones.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
that's smart.
What if emoji lang? Ako ha!
Ako food. Ako.
Ka-joke.
Ha.
I like that. It's even
Pwede
more
naman
specific yun ba?
Yeah, pwede naman po emoji, but as you said, emojis can also be like, example, ako kay mo,
Ay, crying.
crying emoji ko, nikatawa di ko.
No, funny din.
Di nga na, yeah, so that's what we
True.
use po sa, like, it's our way of
Mm.
indicating. Yeah.
Study niya ko na. Muna ko i-thesis.
Ayaw ako na.
Yeah, and these things, no, kanang punctuation, emotion, punctuation, placing mga emojis, making all caps, all those things, they change could be the way that our messages are interpreted. And I'm guilty of that, no, because sometimes my friends tell me like, why are you screaming? Because I always chat with like
caps
all
lock.
like all caps, and then like I don't put emojis as much now, but I always use exclamation point. You know, I don't like it feels so dry. I don't want to be nonchalant. Like, for example, your professor messaged and be like, okay, class is cancelled. I don't want to be like, all right. Thank you. All right, sir. Thank you. I'm gonna be like, all right! Exclamation point. Thank you! Exclamation point. Para kapag po siya nga lipay mga cancel.
Then, i-prolong ang
Dagan ako.
nagago.
Mapu naman na. Thank you po.
Thank you po.
Or thank you.
Oh, kana. Okay. Kana.
Ako, di ko na
Ready for
ako i-cute ang end. Sumuna na IK. Ayaw ng IE. Uki. Uki.
Hindi ko na
Thank
okay.
you. Okay. Oh,
Nabila ko
okay.
nasuko siya.
Usually manansalan
It's also kaning generational sa for example, 'di ba? A certain generation has a lingo, 'di ba? You have a way of saying things. Ya pag human kung if you're talking to another generation, right? Unya lahi po ang iyang linggo ba, lahi po iyang vocabulary ba sa iyang internet language ba? Internet language niya. So di mo magasinabot, 'di ba? Kanang okay. Like what does that mean? Dili kay serious? Binuwang
Ano
sa man.
naman siya ka ng
Ng
cute
lights,
sila.
lights.
Okay. Ano ba? Oh.
Like, okay.
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 So you have to understand and you have to know the person to see the context of the text, 'di ba?
Yeah.
Kakuan ka. Kung di ka kaila sa tao, di ka kasabon okay ni, di ka mo spelling. You know, that's the automatic thing to murag kaning taphaw nga pagtanaw ba sa kung ngano man siya di siya mo what's he talking about? Like you see that all the time when you talk to your parents, 'di ba? Nga magsuro kasi ng parents murag di siya kasabot nganong what are you talking about? What mo manawag siya gali, 'di ba? So muna nakapaitan ng kaning text ba kay generational sa nagod.
Yeah.
Generational ba ang imong language ba?
Pero mama kay mo like lang.
Oh,
Di
okay
ba?
na. Pero for our generation, if, for example, we were to talk to each other and chat niya, mo thumbs up ka, it's rude.
Oh, it's rude.
It's rude. Or if you just say,
Makana.
okay, that's like, is she
Maka
mad?
Artista ka?
Si Sir Jiggy, ang ganahan nga okay nga spelling kay okay ra
Oh.
Okay. But that's because
Yeah,
for us we would think nga suko si Jiggy.
Nonchalant lang gani. Especially kanang karon no kana ganing mag-period sa kinalasan mo
Okay,
period.
Kasi-
Seryoso. Okay. Hello.
Ikaw, Jiggy, do you mean it that way? Like, for example, if we message something and you just say okay period, what does that mean for you? Because for us,
I don't think about it. I don't think about it that much. I think putting a period takes a lot of effort, right? So you have to locate the period and then press it, right? So kung period, I think somehow subliminally or in its consciousness, the end of conversation. That's what it means.
Okay, so it means
Okay.
manana.
End of conversation. Like don't bother me anymore. Kung period. Pero not necessarily mad. It's just end of conversation because I have to do something else. I don't know. That's just me.
That's what it
But I don't.
means.
But I don't usually. Do I put period? Am I okay? I don't think so, right?
No,
Wala.
I don't.
Wala.
Pero for me,
Okay.
basta na period kay na.
Wala siya hadlock.
Okay, pero murag ang period for me is pero.
Okay, pero di ko okay ha.
pero one thing about Cebuanos ba, Filipinos, I think there was a TikToker who talked about this, si Kitsa ni siya, oy, kaning si Kobe, ba ito yung pangan? Si Kobe? Kobe Go, oh.
Kobe Go.
Nag-talk siya, ngano ang mga Cebuanos ba, mga Bisaya, kay ngano ato ang way of chatting, kay very, kung sa, basa ba, for example, instead of dili, di ba?
Dele mga
Kana, Jiggy, like D-E-L-E.
lang.
Yeah, ang unya, di ba? Sa Bisaya, gahi mang gita. Di ba?
Onya.
Di ba? That's like U-N-Y-A, unya. Ang karon kay onya.
Onya. Onya, unsay emo.
Oh,
Unsay emo.
Neet na ka.
Ngano man ang bebe.
Ngano man na, guys? Ngano na uso naman? I don't understand. Like,
We don't even actually speak like that, diba? Or do we?
No.
mao nang gingon ni Jiggy nga lahi siya igabot sa text, because when you talk to each other nga kanang pwede unya na, kung maabot sa chat kay pwede onya
Yan.
na with an H na. Ngano man na? Why
Yeah.
do we do that?
Actually, na theory about that.
What's naman?
CMC theory, di na ako makakuha kung sa yun ang CMC theory, basta computer mediated communication theory.
Okay.
Mag-change ang imong the way ka mag-communicate in person and in kanang sa computer mediated is different. So di ko sure ba na under tong anang murag nay mawala if mag-chat lang mo kay mawala ang body language, mawala ang kanang mawala ang mga
Hindi mo ikuan ang pag-spell out. Ngana. Like,
Hindi mo
example, di ba ni mo
compensate.
makuan ang tone, di ba?
Oo.
So,
Mawala
sa-
ang tone, murabag mas richer man basta media richness po limot ko basta kay mas richer man if mag-talk mo in person kay naadi ang body language na ang tones, intonations tanan murag in communication ba naata ng aspects in communication tabi ninyo in kanang sa computer is ang words sa may makita
So
mawala ang mga aspects so mas lisod siya i-interpret.
So, munang punan og mga letters.
Actually I think yeah.
Jiggy always talks about that. He always says that, like, do you notice nga na you asked me that yesterday, like, even sa mga online classes ni mo, Justin, do you think something gets lost? I said, yeah, that's why I hate it online. He's like, what is it? I'm like, I don't know what it is, pero na ay mawa. So, mao na yung giingon
Yeah.
aspects.
I forgot some theory is if it's either media richness theory or computer mediated communication theory or other theories. Daghan akong search
Pero
kanina.
kana bang your ability to type ba? That's also a skill, di ba? Naanad ka, di ba?
Yeah,
Nga, pwede ka nga maka-speak kasi imong mind bitaw, maka-speak kasi imong mind and then kusog ka mo respond, di ba? Pero ang uban mo take time to respond, di ba? So may tabo na gi-filter pa na ilang thoughts, gi-filter pa na lang appropriate words to use. So those are two kaning kinds of texters, I guess. Katong mga tao nga magunahuna pa silang tubag, mangita pa sila sakto nga spelling, kung formal ba or binuang ba niya. Kaning mo pause pa sila ba before they tell you your emotions. Filter na siya. So kung gatubangan pa to, for example, nasuko na to. Sa kita na ka, di ba? Pero naman siya, he has the benefit of not being there physically in front of you. Muna siya ako ning pwede siguro mas isog siya. Nga kambuanga ka, di ba? Kaya wala man dili man ka masagpaan. Kung napaka sa tubangan atong tuhan na basig sagpaon nanto nimo siya, di ba? Do you understand that? That's true.
Yeah.
That's true, right? Nga we have the benefit of not being there physically. So all the potential harm or all the potential repercussions or reactions to whatever you said is not as scary to send if it's not in person. Kung in person ka, mura man sa kag mahadlok. Pero, like, depende po na nimo kung i-filter po nimo ang kagalingon in person, di ba? It's really up to you, right? Sa imong character. So, that's why you need to understand unsa nga klase nga tao ning tawhana to understand unsa iyang text na ay context bitaw. Sakto na ay context ba?
Exactly. Yeah, like what's funny, even for mga formal text messages, like if I were to speak to someone in a corporate level or wherever lang, I don't know why mo gawas na ko ang kanang mo po ko nga di man ko Tagalog.
Ako sad.
Like, okay, thank you po. I'm not even speaking. Ngano magpo man ta, guys, nga dili man ta. Mo nang giingon ni Jiggy, ang context is we want to seem extra respectful, more formal.
Pero
Pero
mag-communicate me ka ng para guest speaker kanang ana. Kay magpo jud ko ba?
okay, when you invite someone, di ba?
Okay po.
Pero
sige
on the
po.
regular, do you speak Tagalog to people? Like,
No, pero
no,
magpo
di ba?
sad ko.
Mugawas sa text.
Ako kay P. Thank you, P.
What's the meaning sa P?
Masyag po, but cute.
Diba typo?
Jiggy, baguhan lagi ko na Jiggy. Ka-try ka na Jiggy po daw, pero cute. Na mistype nga po. Nahimog P. You know?
I think mo, nang pag-use. Di ko sure, anaon siya pag-use yun. Pero ko mo kuhan.
Among mga classmates.
Thank you, P.
Kana magong word nga po is also very
Formal?
it encapsulates so many things ba nga can easily be said by just po instead of saying thank you so much, di ba? Or murag daghan pa kay kag spelling ba po murag it magically just says nga I respect you and I'm grateful, right? So murag sayon ka ng po, di ba? Murag go to na to go to.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
I really appreciate.
I sincerely appreciate. Oh, kana diretso na. Okay.
Tapulan jud ita.
We
Tapulan
are
kita ng
lazy.
text ha.
That's what Jiggy said. We are lazy. Pero ako nang gamito na ako ng P. Okay, P.
Okay, P.
Pero nasad ko, sometimes I have a habit of putting hehe, like HE. But if it's like, if I'm trying to be mo na siya, more quirky, it's HI.
Hehe, hihi.
What's wrong? Wala maglagot bito akong mama sa hi. Wala ako mama. Ngano mo? Why do you keep adding hehe, hihi in your text?
Ako, muad ko hehe, hihi. Labi ng hehe na example.
Go ahead.
Nakol ka story na example na mas like mas superior na ako. Let's say, nag-ask ko request. Murag, can I ask for this? Hihi.
Para dili kay serious ako sad. Maski walay dapat
Murag,
ihahap mo.
light ang conversation ba?
Correct,
Okay,
correct,
what
yeah.
mo na?
I forgot.
It's also akin to po, di ba? Kanang hehe po. We're just saying it in jest. Murag. We're not very serious about it. Like light lang. Murag pag nauwo ka, murag kag na trepidation gamay, di ba? Murag nauwo gamay, di murag naikog ka, di ba? Naikog ka, di ba? Kay kapoy, I don't even know. I've never spelled kaikog on text, right? So
You say that, yeah, naikog.
naikog gusto ko nimo ana, di ba? So hihi lang hihi. Di ba? Pero kanang hihi ba? Hihi, we never actually say hihi, di ba?
You don't say
No, you don't say her life.
Like, pwede ko mo request, for example, may I ask to change the schedule of our meeting? Di ba sa text mo ka nga, hehe, pero in person, can I ask to change the schedule of meeting? Hehe. Creepy kayo! Mas creepy ang hihin.
Ngano na may dissonance sa actual life o sa internet? Nganong murag dili man siya pareha ngano ka?
Aside from the theory.
Unsa nung teorya does it apply to this nga mausab gyud ang ato ang way of communicating if it's just in words and text and not verbal communication. Lahi gid siya nga
Aka na. Overthinker ta.
Overthink na nato ba? Dapat simple lang ang reply or simple lang dapat imo yung message. I-overthink nimo. Will I seem rude if I just kanang mo lang niya akong i-text or mo lang niya akong i-reply? Mag-overthink man ta kay di man kanahan nga kuan magutaga si tawagan na kanang murag people pleaser pud ta.
Ano lang adoro kay kuan man god ug chat lang god akong gi-mention before that diba kay mawala ang usa sa mawala is ang tone sa speaking.
Okay.
Yeah. So muna I think mo tag hihi ug mga hihi, mga huhu, mga unsa pa nang mga okay. Kay para ang some way siya chat form sa tones.
Makuha mo ba ang tono matansya gani mo awa siya nasuko nako. Okay ra akong good sa akong reply.
Exactly. And one of the things I hate doing also is having to edit my message after I've already sent it. Not because of typo, but because I want the tone to change.
Yeah.
So you don't want to sound too excited. For example, you don't want to sound too nonchalant. So instead of period, you change it to an exclamation
Exclamation
point. I don't want to do that kay kung makita ang sa other tao basin ma-misinterpret na pud niya uy
Actually, aware ba mo guys, makita ba na ninyo ang history, makita ba na
mo
ninyo
nang pati na ron.
ang kuan?
Sa Instagram.
I-click ng edited, magawa sa taas na ang karaan.
Christine, check your
Unsend
messages.
na lang, Judy. Balik na lang send.
Mas worse man sa Facebook kay na may Ellery
Nakita
unsent
naman
a message. Bati na noon.
Sa among chat miss ana mga isa mo chat sa Ellery na di siya ma-replyan, open nimo kay unsend.
Hey, she felt magud nga. Mo reply na ako na lang ni.
Well, the reason why we're talking about our communication styles on the internet is because of Mercury retrograde, diba? Kanang what did you do? What did you do?
Ano, makita na kung unsa imong gi-edit. So like, wala ka escape. Kung nana ka, gibalikas nimo siya, then imong
Dugay na kibaw ada actually.
Anyway, so ang mode of transmission ba sa internet, 'di ba? It's in cyberspace, it's on the air, 'di ba niya? Mercury retrograde is happening in space and time, 'di ba? Nga Mercury ni hina yung tuyok instead of faster. It looks like it's turning back. So does that affect also the way we communicate on the internet? Has that also do you feel nga when we're communicating through the internet it's different when it's Mercury retrograde? Is there a relation ba? Is there a relation ba?
I don't think there's a specific correlation, but maybe because like ang signals kay namang sa sky.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Pasin makakuan
Dili masen nimo mga chat.
More and more now, people are communicating in cyberspace, diba? On the internet again. Kanang gud siya nagin sa space literally. Like for example, kanang kang Elon Musk tawag na. Starlink, diba? Nagin sa space, diba? So then it's probably more at the mercy of the forces of space, right? Of the interplanetary kaning movement and so on and so forth, diba? So maybe that's why it's more relevant now because it's affecting the way we communicate on the internet, right? What do you think?
Yeah, but Mercury, parang nako ang Mercury retrograde, wala siya kanang like kanang actual yun, kanang let's say physical yun na
Okay.
na affects sa kanang atong daily lives or sa technology right now. I think like it's more like on a spiritual level lang siya ba?
On a spiritual level. Okay.
Na murag as a human being, murag di
Nah,
ka
thanks to you. I
maka-communicate.
never even thought about any of this before I came on the show. Karon ma-paranoid na ko. Now I'm gonna be like weary of what happens. Like if something happens, I'll be like, one of the voice in my head will say, they were right. Mercury is probably in. I don't wanna salig too much to that, no, pero that will definitely be in my subconscious for the next until August 12. Until the start of class.
So, udita maka-enroll Mercury retro simbako, Mercury
Kung dili
retrograde.
mo maka-blockmates, mga Mercury.
Sarap mi ka black safe ra.
So lagi mag-intersect lagi. I was telling them earlier, Justin, mag-intersect lagi ang ghost month o ang Mercury retrograde.
August man siya.
Ghost month man na. Ghost month.
Padayon ang ghostings.
Unsa man ang ghost month ko no?
Ghost month, it's Eastern, Chinese siya nakuan. And nang sa China po, ang ilang belief is, ang August daw, kay ada po ng mga bad luck. And similar to
Really?
retrograde. Yeah. That's
So there must be something about Mercury retrograde and ghost month, diba? It's probably interrelated, diba? So there must be something about business and the stars and the month, right? Or the period, nga July, August. Kaya ano man na, nga astrology is Western, Eastern ang ghost month, diba?
Yeah.
So let's look at it from economic perspective. Kanang diba, middle of the month is June, diba? June. Kanang July, August, muna na siya ang padung na sa the next quarter. Next two quarters of the year, diba? So possibly po nga nakasugod na ang business month ninyo sa January niya. Anya tunga-tunga na sa buwan, Hunyo ni paghuman murag basig siguro alkansi mo. So diha na siguro mugawas ang accounting, alkansi, whatever, or nakaginansya baron, whatever, right? So it could be because of the business cycle nganong diha yung buwan. I'm trying to figure out unsa nga mga panghitabo sa ekonomiya nga might prompt people to make a conclusion nga dili mayo inegosyo ng adlaw, dili mayo make big decisions, dili may make big purchases and all of that stuff, right? What makes sense, Justin?
Okay, so you're looking at it through a business perspective. I remember I spoke to a couple people who are in the kanang sa hotel industry, and they were saying about how start of the year it's ano season kana daghan ka ayo mo book og rooms because of, especially in Cebu City, like Cebu City mismo, because of Sinulog. Then towards the end of the year, daghan sa bookings because corporate events like Christmas parties, end of year party, and people are there for celebrating the holidays also. So daghan pud na ang mga not resorts but hotels in Cebu. Ang off season pud nila starts for most hotels, it's August also in the middle, which is ironic. I would think na how is August the off season when June and July is like wedding season? So everyone's always using mga function room. They're like, yeah, but in the summer, people aren't in the city except for those events. They're mostly in resorts outside. Okay, so that's one thing. Another reason is that in August man good nga ano, it's a slow season because there's no like important event from August to October. There's not much of a reason. Maybe like the occasional like it's not like a time nga na ay mga summer sale, for example, or kanang trips. People are usually in school at that time, no?
True.
So that makes sense. That is their slow season. Ghost month. Tan tan tan.
I think sa pag-research na ko ang ghost month kay gikan ko Chinese school pod. Ara sa modo na maka-remember ko sa akong mga classmates silang mga angkong, mga
Ilang
family nila kay komodo nang mo open ang underworld daw. So like mugawa sa mga bad spirits. So kung naay mga bad spirits, makuan into bad energy, then do not make big decisions daw, especially niya. Kuan ba yun yung mga business
so di ka mag-open
minded.
og negosyo.
business minded ba yung mga Chinese, and then wala siya scientific ko ano, pero I think ang kuan lang siya kanang collective anxiety lang
It's
siya.
the culture sad, no?
Cultural sad
Pareha
siya.
nang wala sila ay fourth floor sa mga elevator, like they skip a number, di ba?
Okay,
Sa ilang mga
something
negosyo?
death daw or dead, ang like nakalimot ko sa to. 9 ba to?
Ang number 4 is
Four
kuan siya synonym, same siya og kanang intonation manguro or same og sound sa word sa death in Chinese. So maong wala yung fourth floor, especially in mga eastern na kuan culture. Mura na gud nag 13 na to diri sa
we should
western.
invite someone also like an expert on that, no? Kanang the Chinese. Lahi pud man sad good ilang zodiac. Lahi na pud
Yeah,
ilang.
Kaya mga animals.
Yeah.
With,
Why don't you know what, to cap this off, since we're already talking about Mercury being in retrograde, zodiac signs, Western zodiac, and we are Asian, so why don't we look at as Eller did earlier? No, she gave us our what, how would you say, your fortune for our
for Mercury retrograde.
for our zodiac signs. What about for Eastern zodiac? Do you know yours, Jiggy? Year of the
Oh, I don't know.
A year of that, like that.
year of the Ana.
I'm year of the rat, I think.
Rat. Okay.
What year man birth year? 1972?
Like that ni Sir Ipad daw.
Na-expose na. 72. What about you guys?
yeah,
Rat si Jiggy.
Ako year of the sheep, goat, sheep. Basta kahit 3. Sheep ata. Goat.
Goat. Okay. How about you, Ellery?
Ako kay Rooster 2005.
Rooster. Okay. What about you, Christine?
Let's see.
Dragon.
Dragon. Okay. So you're 2000.
Yes.
Okay. Same ta. Dragon pud ko.
Mga
Rar. Libra and Dragon? What the?
powerful ko ana.
Sige, let's how about Jiggy's first, year of the rat?
Fortune.
My mom said ba nga swerte ako daw ang swerte nila kay Dragon. Amot lang ano.
Pero kung ano, this
Also
year
the year,
is
no? This
year
year,
of
what's-
the snake.
Snake day taron.
Yeah, daw.
Okay.
So, asa man na, ha?
So ito
Rat.
depend.
I just saw Ratatouille, by the way, a few days ago. And
So
a few days ago, because somebody was talking about how it's her best movie of all time when I was watching best movies of all time, and they said Ratatouille, so I had to watch it again, and it actually is. I have a new appreciation of how beautiful that movie is, and I didn't know until now nga mo dito year of the rat day today. I mean, like I am born in the year of the rat. I mean, unsa man na
Gi-calculate mo edad.
Hello, we know your age na. Na-reveal.
Hala!
Yeah. So, ang
Year of the rat. So
yeah.
let's see. This year,
This
2025, is
year.
year of the snake, and apparently the zodiac ano for Jiggy as year of the rat is.
So yeah, people born in the year of the rat will be among those enjoying the most financial success
Uy,
in 2025.
Jiggy
So,
ka.
on the other hand, This means that rats may be swamped with decisions. They said that you should make important moves in the first half of the year to yield better results. Rats should focus on the big picture instead of getting stuck on minor details while navigating work. And amid a busy schedule, rats should set aside time for themselves and their loved ones.
So mag-vacation ka dapat, sige.
Pero di ba ang
You
rat
chill.
I thought na ang rat ang snake kay kalaban. Hindi na sila kalaban. Hindi na makaon sa snake ang rat.
I think bitaw no, well all of them.
When
No.
you think of it.
Okay, before we wrap it up, let's have Justine's. Unsa man
Yeah,
imo?
Christine.
Ay, sige
I
to.
say we dragon.
Dragon.
Dragon. Asan dragon? Hello.
Year of the Dragon. I have the tiger man in a song.
Yeah.
That's something else.
So, dragons might still be panting from all the drama and chaos of 2024.
Ay, oo.
While the remnants
Oo, ayun.
of 2024 may linger beyond Lunar New Year, things will brighten after April and May. Tinood ba?
After.
Did it brighten?
Ay, naman siguro.
Sakto lang.
It's a good time for you to take up new exercises, new health routines, and be more mindful of your mental health.
Why exercise? That's what Jiggy has been telling me since
Ay,
last
pero
year pa.
exercise naman kay si Garing
Aring tops.
Saka sa stairs.
Ako rooster. 2005. I don't like... Okay. Similar to 2024, people born in the year of the rooster will continue to have a harmonious relationship with Taixie. I don't know what Taixie is. I don't know. What's Taixie? Anyway, so looking for love, the geomancy master says there is a good chance. Oh no!
What's man?
There is a good chance to find suitable partner.
Oy! Wait, ha. First of all, if you remember, yung Aquarius, was, ano to? Katong you have to, relationship. Nakaroon partner. Daghan na lagi na, Hillary.
The universe is telling you something.
I can't.
So, kung ganahan mo message ni Hillary, message lang din sa TFC.
Sige ka?
Goat.
Goat.
Ako daw.
Okay, so last but not
The
least, no?
Goat.
Goat si Oliver.
Okay, ikaw na basa.
Ako na basa. Sige. People born in the year of the goat will enjoy a relatively stable year, so as long as they pay attention to what you consume. You are what you eat. Career-wise, there shouldn't be many big changes this year. However, goats may want to play things safe and avoid taking unnecessary risks, especially investments. Dun 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 dun. So that wraps it up.
Ayaw sa pagkuhan o decision karon o
Mercury retrograde.
any August kay ghost man.
Ayan ako siya sugtot.
Mag-wait na ta. Inig, make big
August 12.
decisions in August 12.
You know, I think at the end of the day, it's really about processing your decisions first, diba? Lain-lain lang tag-processors, diba? I mean, it could be astrology, it could be your faith in a deity, in a god, it could be whatever, right? In science. So we all process things differently. And I guess if it works for you, then well and good, right? And I think kanang Mercury retrograde and astrology, if it works for you guys, then fine, right? But if it doesn't work for you, then maybe you should try to look for other ways and means to navigate through this world. Or you can use both, right? None of them can be exclusive. You know, you can do a few combinations here and there, right?
Experiment.
Experiment on your life, right? Yeah. This whole experiment called life. You know, we only have one crack at this thing called life, so we should try to explore other ways and means in which to navigate this what you said chaotic world that we are living in, right?
Yeah.
And also another way of looking at it is maybe it is okay to embrace the chaos. Maybe chaos is not a bad thing. Maybe not knowing is not a bad thing, right? Maybe not knowing is not a bad thing at all. We don't have to know everything, right? So you know, like we don't need any ways of looking at the world just because we don't know what we don't know answer. We don't have answers to this specific thing that happened to us. It could be just fine, you know, accept it. I don't know. So what's wrong with I don't know? You know, my I don't know today could be I know tomorrow. But right now, I don't know.
Very important.
And I'm fine.
Yeah.
Right?
I know that I know nothing.
I know that I know nothing. Thank you so much, guys. Woo! Mercury retrograde. Atong itong karning katagbalik atong na-mention ni Katsuki og retrograde. Let's play that again. It's called Gemini 105.1 TM. So you guys take care. Thank you so much. Hillary, Ollie, and Extine, dakang salamat. Of course, thank you so much for making it here today. Justine Narvius. What is happening with you these days, Justine?
Yeah.
Did you get the job that you were applying for?
I did.
Oh, congratulations.
Thank you. I'm gonna have my finals at the end of the week, so it's the calm before the storm. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Mercury retrograde pagbabantay, ha?
Oh
Maybe you shouldn't celebrate yet until after August 11, di ba? So your new job and your new in your exams, no celebration yet.
Late
I just
celebration
tell my
na.
prof ba nga, Judge, pwede i-move ang exam ko. Humana sa Mercury. Anyway, have a great day, everyone.